This is Dr. Omar Farooq, and today's lecture I will try to explain how test specifications are developed. Learning outcomes of the session. After the instruction, the students will be able to prepare a list of objectives, outline the course content, understand the concept of test specifications, and develop a table of specifications. Dear students, we expect our students to know thousands of facts, but we can't test all of them. We also expect students to develop thinking skills for solving variety of problems, but we can test their problem solving ability with a limited number of problems because we have only limited time. So we select a sample of student performance and accept it as evidence of their achievement. We assume that student responses to our selected items or tasks would be the same as those which were not included in the sample. So a limited sample must be selected in such a way that it should provide as representative sample as possible. For selecting a representative sample, we use an instrument or device that is called table of specifications or test specifications. एक बात ज़हन में रखिएगा कि अगर हम टेस्ट स्पेसिफिकेशंस यूज ना करें तो नॉलेज लेवल के आइटम्स हमारे टेस्ट में ज़्यादा हो जाएं और कम्प्लेक्स लर्निंग आउटकम्स नज़रअंदाज हो जाएं। रिप्रेजेंटेटिव सैंपल के लिए नंबर ऑफ आइटम्स एंड टास्क भी इम्पोर्टेंट फैक्टर है और ये इस पे डिपेंड करता है कि मेजरमेंट का पर्पस क्या है, टेस्ट आइटम्स की टाइप क्या है, इसके अलावा स्टूडेंट की एज क्या है। फॉर डेवलपिंग टेबल ऑफ स्पेसिफिकेशंस, फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल वी प्रिपेयर अ लिस्ट ऑफ इंस्ट्रक्शनल ऑब्जेक्टिव्स, देन आउटलाइन द कोर्स कंटेंट एंड फाइनली प्रिपेयर द टू वे चार्ट। आइए एक एग्जाम्पल के जरिए टेस्ट स्पेसिफिकेशंस के कंसेप्ट को समझने की कोशिश करते हैं। इन दिस एग्जाम्पल वी विल बिल्ड अ टेबल ऑफ स्पेसिफिकेशंस फॉर अ वेदर यूनिट। डियर स्टूडेंट्स, as we have discussed earlier that the first step in developing table of specifications is to prepare a list of instructional objectives. और इस लिस्ट को तैयार करते हुए ये बात ज़हन में रखनी चाहिए, इफ यू आर टीचिंग एट लोअर ग्रेड लेवल then your objective will be defined by fewer and simpler learning outcome. But when you teach at higher grade level, then more complex learning outcomes would be included. Weather unit के लिए टेबल ऑफ स्पेसिफिकेशंस को तैयार करते हुए जो इंस्ट्रक्शनल ऑब्जेक्टिव्स की लिस्ट है वो इस तरह से बनाई गई है कि एक जनरल ऑब्जेक्टिव के साथ कुछ स्पेसिफिक लर्निंग आउटकम्स जो कि उसको डिफाइन करते हैं उनको लिखा गया। For example, the first general objective is knows basic terms, and the learning outcomes that define this first general objective include write a definition of each term, identifies the term that presents each weather element, identifies the term that best fits a given weather description, matches the term to a picture of the concept, and distinguishes between the correct and incorrect uses of the term. इस यूनिट के लिए दूसरा जनरल ऑब्जेक्टिव जो कि नॉलेज लेवल पर है उसके लिए लर्निंग आउटकम्स मैचेस ईच सिंबल विद द वेदर एलिमेंट इट रिप्रेजेंट्स, ड्रॉज द सिंबल फॉर ईच एलिमेंट and identifies the symbol of each element. The third general objective is also on knowledge level. It is knows specific facts, and here is the list of learning outcomes for this objective. Identifies the elements affecting weather, names the instruments used for measuring each weather element, identifies the unit of measurement used in reporting each weather element, distinguishes between correct and incorrect procedures for determining each weather element, matches the names of each cloud type with a description of its characteristic and identifies the weather conditions associated with each type of front. If you look at this journal objective and the learning outcomes that defined it, you see for achieving these objectives, students are required to show higher level of understanding than the previous ones, as those were lower level objectives जिनको आप knowledge level objectives कहते हैं. ये objective है understands the influence of factors on weather formation. And the learning outcomes that define these general objectives include describes the characteristics of a given weather condition, describes how clouds are formed, predicts future weather from a change in conditions, explain how clouds affect weather and climate, and identifies factors causing a given weather change. Here is another higher level objective that is included in the list that was prepared for the table of specification for the weather unit, and that is interprets weather maps. The learning outcomes include describe the weather for given locality, identifies the different types of fronts shown on a weather map, describe the weather conditions surrounding each front shown on map, and explain ways global patterns of atmospheric movement influence local weather. You have noticed that these learning outcomes can be achieved only with higher level of understanding, and without that type of understanding they can't be achieved. Dear students, outlining the course content is the second step in building a table of specifications. You must remember, instructional objectives state the type of performance the students are expected to demonstrate, while instructional content indicates the area in which performance is to be shown. And for proper interpretation of results, the content outline we prepare for table of specifications should be detailed enough. Now look at the outline we have prepared for weather unit. The first topic is air pressure and its subtopics are measuring and reporting air pressure, factors affecting air pressure, and so on. The second topic that is included in this outline is wind, and the subtopics are measurement of speed and direction, factors affecting speed and direction, and symbols for reporting speed and direction. The next topic is air temperature, and the subtopics are measuring and reporting air temperature. The second one is factors affecting air temperature, and the third one relation to weather formation. Here is another topic, and that is clouds, and its subtopics are types of clouds, characteristics of cloud types, factor causing cloud formation, and symbol for cloud types. The final topic of the content area is fronts, and its subtopics are types of fronts, formation of fronts, weather related to fronts, and symbols for fronts. Dear students, preparing a two-way chart is the final step in the development of test specifications. This chart relates the instructional objectives to instructional content. It should be noted that this table of specification is limited only to those objectives that can be measured with classroom test. For example, objectives are restricted response essay question. It excludes objectives requiring performance and oral presentations. For comprehensive coverage, it's necessary that a set of performance assessment tasks should supplement the classroom test. Now look at the table. The bottom row of the table shows that 10% items were devoted to knowledge of basic terms, 10% to knowledge of weather symbols, 10% to knowledge of specific facts, 50% to understanding influence of weather factors, 20% to interpretation of weather maps. The column on the right hand side shows that 15% of the items were concerning air pressure, 25% with wind, and so on. First of all, these percentages are assigned to indicate the emphasis to each objective and each content area. Then total numbers of items for each area is determined. This is a 60 items test, so 6 of them are to measure knowledge, 9 of them mean 15% were concerning with air pressure. So in this way, total number of items is computed. These numbers are used as a guide to assign test items. Watch another example of table of specifications. Dear students, table of specifications is useful for constructing a test for a unit or a course, but it is unnecessary if the domain of task is limited. For example, addition of fractions with the same denominator, this table is of no use. For that purpose, we can list all of the tasks. लेकिन अगर हमारा मैथमेटिक्स का टेस्ट एडिशन ऑफ फ्रैक्शंस के लिए है तो फिर ये टेबल बहुत यूजफुल है. In some areas, one-way classification is required. For example, for planning a reading test, a list of reading skills and the number of test items for measuring each skill is enough. In this table, you can see the each skill is stated as specific performance terms and 10 items are used to measure each skill. Here is a checklist for test specifications.